Let's make some big hole rings on a 3/16 inch mandrel. What that means is we have to take out some sleeves in our electric mandrel spinner, go down to the 3/16 inch sleeve. We want to make sure it's out enough. We're going to push it from the back because it was in a little bit too much. Making sure it's out enough that we can hold on to it while we are putting in the mandrel. So we put our thumb on the sleeve and it's a little too loose, so we're going to tighten it up. You know how to do that. So we're going to speed right through that. A little loose, got to try a few times to get it to fit. So we're going to make 5 beads on one mandrel. We're going to heat up the mandrel. And I realize that I'm going to put a bead all the way down really close to the spinner, so I'm going to pull that away a little bit because I realize it's a little too close. So on the large mandrels, you want to have a gap so that you don't overheat your spinner. Starting towards the middle of the mandrel, I'm going to make what is going to become my largest bead first. So we're just doing small gathers and adding glass smoothly and hot, one gather at a time, trying to pull away the rod of glass as smoothly as possible to keep the bead balanced. Adding another bead, we're going to space them a good length away from each other. They will widen as we work on them. Bead's got a bit of a wobble, so let's try to fix that. Taking a cooler rod, we're going to hit the bead, hot bead, with the rod, pull it away as smoothly as possible. That's really what's going to help the most. This bead just wants to be wobbly though. We're going to go ahead and smooth the bead to give it a little bit of stability. Trying to straighten out the wobbly edge a little bit. So I'm going to take a cool rod and the hot edge of the bead and roll it around and see if I can get it to smooth out, and it did. Keeping things warm. Flatten the bead a little bit. Using the cool beads next to the hot bead on the marver, you can keep the diameter similar. Adding a little more glass. Little insurance heat. Now we're going to add some Psyche to the bead on the end, adding the hot glass onto the edge of the glass that is on the mandrel already, and just moving it down the line of the mandrel. Adding glass, widening the bead. Keeping the other beads warm and flattening out with the marver, making it a tube shape. A little bit of insurance heat. Now we're going to add another bead. Making sure all the beads are warm enough. Glass bead. Heating the beads while I am gathering glass on the rod. It does become a natural instinct to warm up the other beads on your mandrel while you're waiting to gather new glass on your rod. And again, using the cooler beads on the mandrel, getting the new beads hot, you can use the cooler beads to help you set the diameter of the beads that are right next to it. Insurance heat, making sure everything is pretty warm. Using the rolling marver to do them all at once. Making sure everything is warm. Now I'm taking some 30 gauge fine silver wire and warming up the bead where I want the wire to go, rolling it around, cutting it off with the flame, making sure all the beads are warm, and then hitting the bead, hitting the wire with the flame, watching the wire break up into little balls, giving it about a 4 count, and then hitting it with the marver to smooth the balls out and get them right under the surface of the glass. Psyche is a reducing glass, and so I'm just reducing. I changed my flame to the reducing flame, and I am going through and reducing the Psyche, and then I bring it all back to a neutral flame to basically wash the reducing off and reveal a pretty blue, sometimes green underneath. Reducing a little bit more, trying to get a little bit more color. Back to a neutral flame, keeping everything warm, and we are good.